Hi, how you going, everyone? Welcome. This is my second attempt at this today. I got interrupted before, and so hopefully no one was. Well, it sounds odd to say hopefully no one was watching, but hopefully no one was watching and disappointed. But here I am. I'm going to go for it again, and hopefully we can do it. So today's stream, we're going to be talking about. Hi, how you going, everyone? Oh, there you go. It's just repeating me. Second attempt at this today. I got interrupted before, and so hopefully no one was. There you go. Having trouble. It's my first time streaming for quite some time, so I'm getting used to a bit of a new system and trying to sort it all out. So anyway, sorry about that. Let's go. So I'm going to be talking about Blastlogic and the timing part of Blastlogic, particularly the pyrotechnic part of Blastlogic, not the electronic stuff. And yeah, so hopefully I got a couple of blasts here that might be entertaining to watch me tie in. Certainly I'm going to try to show you how I deal with troublesome blasts, or maybe even a simple blast. Anyway, also what I still have all these great tools on the blastingapps.xyz website, and so if you're interested, I use this one quite a lot just to check powder factors and what ratios I'm going to get, especially if I'm looking at doing any improvement sort of stuff. So there might be something that there for people to use and to learn a bit about the relationships of blasting and those sorts of things. And I've got some other calculators there. So if you want, please go and have a look at the various tools on there, and by all means you can probably shoot me an email or tag me on this video if you think there's a better tool to use, or a better or a newer calculation, or a calculation you'd like to see built. Maybe I'll have time to do it. And if you like these streams, you can go over to buy me a coffee and support me on that, and that would be great. But anyway, let's get into Blastlogic. So here we have the outline of Blastlogic, and in the outline we have a view, which is essentially some kind of like a camera view of what we're doing. And over here we have our sort of lists of information and stuff that we're doing. Excuse me. And in the blasts container we have two blasts there, and we're going to have a look at those two blasts, and these are unpublished because Blastlogic is not like other applications. It doesn't have a save button, so when you do something in the program, it is essentially saved, right? So let's get into it, and right here, just put that there, and let's drag one of these blasts in. And one of the things that always gets people with Blastlogic is it's a middle mouse button drag to drag it into the screen. I know people often get a bit upset about that and want it the left mouse button, and I would like it the left mouse button, so if anyone's listening, that'd be great. But it is a middle mouse button to drag it in. And here we have a blast here, and we're also going to look at this other blast, and look at this other blast over here, and I'll just zoom it out, and we can see that we have two blasts there. We can reset that view. Now these are unpublished blasts, and I know that because they're pink, and that's the color we have for unpublished blast in this database. But moving on, we're going to do a tie-up for one of these, and try to use the tie-up tools through this program. So essentially you're just going to expand this blast, and in there I can see I've got a container that says tie-ups. I'm going to right click on that type, and I can do a new type design, or I can go up to the top and click create and create tie-up. Once I've selected the blast, I can select the blast and then go create tie-up that way. Now if you're using the new features of 2021, then you'll know that there's a ribbon, and some of these features sit on the ribbon. I like to use the traditional style of application. Anyway, I'm going to right click on this one and go new type design. So I'm just going to be looking at this one down here. Let's start with the hardest one first and have a little look, and there you can see that we've got the blast there, and we can zoom in and look around. You can see that these numbers are pretty good. Don't mind those numbers, but maybe I want them closer to the hole. So whilst they're all selected, I can go over to labels, and I can bring the distance of those labels back in a little bit, so they're right on the top of the hole. Maybe I want to select these here. Excuse me. I'm going to select these holes here. Yeah, and I'm going to maybe I'll change the orientation of the text. Yeah, and then I'm going to move the distance away. Yeah, and then I'm going to change the bearing of the text so that they're aligned on the blast hole, maybe like that. Let's just drag it out a little bit like that. Yeah, so you can see quite flexible. This is quite flexible in doing your labeling, and you can do the same with your initiation times and your primer annotations and all those sorts of things. Rightio. Then if you were interested in adding another blast, like you wanted to tie these two blasts in together, you can just grab that blast there, that second blast, and drag it into here and drop it in there. I'm not going to do that just yet. We'll do that a bit later, but that's just a bit of information. Like if you've got a toe shot or some oversized that you want to join into it, you can just drag it in there. So that's pretty cool. I like that. And then you've got all these different options, electric, wire, those sorts of things. Well, we're going to go with pyro. I've already set my connectors up, but if you were to set your connectors up from scratch, and the first time you used it, if it's the first time you've used it, it would ask you, and then you would select them and add them. But if you wanted to edit the available connectors, and you can go into here and change what connector systems you have, add more or less. Say you want some MSCs or something like that, you can add some MSCs, like you're doing chord shots or something like that, or depending what's in your blast catalog, you can add those. Let's say I've got everything I think I need, and I'm not going to use MSCs on this anyway. So I'm going to cancel that, but that's interesting. So that's a bit of an overview there. You've got a couple of tie-up tools, and you've got some different ways of showing those tie-ups, those connections. Now you can start tying in your blast without without an IP address, an IP hole. But if you are wanting to set your IP and you know where you're going to fire it from straight away, then you can set your IP this way by clicking on the set IP and then just selecting a hole that you want to use as the IP. Let's say we use that one. Right. Alternatively, you can you right click on the hole. Actually, let's say we're going to change. We're going to tie it from one of these holes, and we go right click and we set this as the IP address. You didn't see that because the thing was off the screen, so I will move it up there and zoom in, and we'll do that again. We'll pick another hole, right click, and set IP. If I click on it, right, there you go. So you can see that that's quite easy to do, and you can see that there's a little 0 down there. Maybe you can't see it at all. Maybe black isn't the color you want. Maybe you want to do your tie-ups in a white. So we'll just go to View Properties and change it to white. Okay. So you can see here that this is more your style. You like to work in a white screen. I personally don't. It's blinding and glary. So I'm more of a person that likes to work with a darker screen. Alright, we can even do multiple colours. So, a bit of a screen gradient there, let's do that. And top colour. Get it right. Dark blue. That's terrible actually, so I'm just going to go single colour, and we'll got to be a bit more patient, I think. Radio. Anyway, let's moving on. So I've set my IP, and you know, I was thinking about this, and this one's a difficult shot. Perchance it goes around the corner. We've got a high wall on this side. We've got a high wall on this side. This is a choked area. So this is our free face. And you're sort of like going, do I want to use the smaller holes, or do I want to use the larger holes? Excuse me. And you know, then you might say, well, do I want to? I've got a ramp in that as well, and do I want to fire from the ramp area first? And why would I be initiating first movements of a hole on a ramp grade, trying to break that toe out? So it's kind of like probably better to work over here and start over here, I think, looking at that in a three-dimensional aspect. What aspect don't you want? You know, this is a ramp grade preconditioning, and it's quite deep, and then we've got like a, you know, a high wall that we have to protect, and then crest line and all sorts of things in there. So let's look at that. But what I might do is, I think we're going to start from here and try and work it back. Right now, when we do timing like this, we have to consider what our relationship is with the other holes around us. Now, the distance between these big holes and these small holes is not quite the same, right? So it doesn't quite line up. So every now and then, like this row here, let's draw a let's create a line, you know, kind of this row here through here, that's kind of a row there. Those holes belong to that row, you could kind of say there. And then you've got, you know, another row here, and you're kind of in a grey spot as to whether which holes belong to which row. So like if you're using the big holes as your timing control, like they're leading the time, then the other holes have to fit in with it. So you can't use the same connections in that space if you want an even burden spacing or an even burden relief, right? So I might just go straight to this application so that you don't have to look at my face. Anyway, so there's lots to consider here about what you would do, and so it might just be best to, it's quite an odd shot. I'm going to remove those lines there, and I'm going to just start with something simple, because that is the best thing. So you've got certain times now that you've got certain things you can do and you can't do, and starting with the simple timing is going to be the easiest. So we can think about this, and then we can think about this. So let's think about it, and I'm going to say that we're going to use a 25. I think I want to do 17. I want to keep it quick. This is a very hard pit, and we're going to keep it quick. So I'm going to select this here. Actually, I better get the right tool, and I'll just finish that. Escape, radio. I'm just going to finish. I'm going to choose this tool here, which is the auto type tool. This is a multi-line connection tool, but this is the auto type tool. I'm going to see what it does, because I haven't done this on such a complex shot before. But the key again is to use the areas that are easy. So I'm going to work on timing this sort of area in here first. and so we'll use that. We'll get the 17s. Yep, good. I'm going to pick a clearly straight row. Better just adjust this down to 1 meter, and which is my search radius. I'm going to select my 17 there. Right, and then I'm going to select my 25. It's very slow while I'm streaming, and now you can see that it's timing it in like that, and that's not exactly what I wanted to do. So it always takes a little bit of time for me to get used to which one to do first. So it's obviously the tool here that we want to go. So I'm just going to select these tools. I'm going to change to the line mode. Drag it. The computer is performing a little bit slower than what I expected. So get this 25, and then I will select that tool there. Here with a 25. Yeah. And then we'll get our 17, and we'll go across the face like this, and hopefully it will work out. Yep, so we're just going to slap some holes in here, because we're going to delete these 17s. It's not where we want them to be, but you know, it ties in a large portion of their holes, and rather than trying to deal with what these should or shouldn't be, or that sort of stuff, you know, we can sort of just select those and change them to another delay. So let's do, I'm going to do 25s through this bolt. Once past this these big holes here, this wider spacing row, I think I'm going to then swap them out to like 42s, then slow them further down and go to 67, sort of thing like that. So I might do that. And so I'm just going to select these holes in here after the big holes. Yeah, I'm going to select those, and we'll untick that so that we can actually work with them. Right click on it, and I'm going to change the connectors to like 42, right? That way I don't have to think about it. And then after that, I'm going to do 2 rows of that, and then we'll get those, and I'll change them to I don't know, 67s. Now everyone, and then these ones here, I might change them to 109. So slowly down, giving the wall a bit of time to move. Very traditional methods of timing. So there we have that. This hole is obviously not correct, so I'm going to delete that connector by just hitting the delete key, and these are going to head towards this way. So I'm kind of like, I'm going to delete these as well, get rid of these crazy ones over here. All right, and actually I don't want any of these 17s eventually, but I'll leave them there for now. And I'm going to finish off and work my way back to this IP hole. Sorry, I've been talking about networking all day, so got networks on the mind. All right, I'm going to go there. Just go down and let's say this. I'll just put this 25 in so I can connect it up and get some times that show up on the screen. Alright, there we go, and so we've got some times that we show up on the screen. I'm just going to get these labels and going to move to this initiation times, and I'm going to select, well, better do this. Yep, unselected that. Yep, labels. I'm going to select all my holes, and I'm going to move those initiation times around. Seems to be having a little bit of a trouble. There you go, that'll be better, should work. Interesting. Obviously there's a bit of a trick for new players. I need to be selecting the holes, not the ties. There you go. So now that I have selected the holes and not the ties, like I was doing before, we can adjust these these this text, and we can get that bearing, so we can put that there, bring the distance in, maybe put them right below the hole, or just off to the side. Yeah, off to the side there. Looks good. Looks good. You can make the timing a little bit difficult to see that, so we might also do what I'd done before previously and just change it to a white background, and then we can see that stuff, even though I don't like working in white. Anyway, moving on, and so we've worked our way back, and we've got this sort of set up there, and I might just turn on the blast modeling and put on the timing contour, because I don't like, and nor should you, like working without interesting, without a timing contour. It'd be quite interesting if this doesn't like the timing contour without having the pattern published. That would be pretty bad for this demonstration. Never really done timing in. It should do this, but let's just keep going, right? So that timing contour didn't really work for us. So let's go back to the pyro. It might have been because we were in the wrong mode. Sometimes it's quite finicky like that. We'll get the timing contour up. Yeah, no, it's really not liking it. Okay, let's just close that down, that draft, and we'll go in here and open it up again, see if we can get it to work. Yeah, I really was expecting the timing contours to show up on the screen here, because I'm in the newer model, newer mode, and it isn't doing it. So anyway, that's quite interesting. I hope this isn't a wasted stream. This is the second time I've tried this, and it's it's not working. Anyway, let's keep going with it. Let's tie it in. You can probably hear the computer going crazy. So I'm just going to tie in with these tools here. We'll put this back at 1 because this is quite tight pattern. Yeah, very, very... you know why there's no timing? Because I haven't charged it. And this is the problem with working with unpublished patterns. Here I was thinking I was going to be fine. So I'm just going to quickly charge this with a charge rule. Find a holes. Right, which they have none, because I need to discard them. Yes, I want to discard them. Here I was thinking that I was all set up, and I wasn't. So I'm just going to give them a whole type, and I'm not going to think about. I'm not going to think about any of the concerns there about that. Just going to keep going. Okay. Well, that's what we needed. We needed some boosters in there. All right, now that is a lot better. I already feel a lot better about that. So let's go to blast modeling and look at the timing contour. That is annoying, rightio. So here we go. It's obviously thinking about it, and there we go. So we've got this tiny little contour line there of what we've done so far. So you can see this contour line through here, and also on the other screen there you can now see that because I've got that contour map up, I'm getting contours on this screen as well. So let's change that back to white again. There. Right, untick this so I can work with the interface. Go view properties, and we'll change this back to white, and then we can see the contours a little bit better right here. Okay, so we've got this all sorted now, and I can see some contours, so I can sort of draw a line in my mind's eye up through here of where I want, and then I'm going to be changing it back down here. So we can just start connecting in the rest of those 17s there, or we can get rid of them. And really don't like this white. Let's go with black. Okay. Alright, so we're going to get rid of these 17s, and we're going to stitch them out here. So we can do that now actually with that there, and we'll just go along and pick a different shape. So whilst it's still working, you can just pick a different shape. Now, with pyrotechnic delays, you often only have a limit to the number of connections available, should I say, to produce good timing. You can see here that this is put a kink in it. So we definitely don't want to do that. So that's something you can read with those contours. Is if it's got a kink, it means something's out of sequence. We've talked about this in other things. So I'm going to leave that for the moment, and we'll just get this sorted about these holes, and delete these. All right. All our contours are gone. Now you can see there's trade-offs with doing things in various ways, and sticking to a method. So a lot of people just like to do it with a specific method, but that's fine. This is rather boring, I think, because I'm actually struggling with the speed of this program at the moment. You can see I'm getting a lot of issues there. Right, back on track with these. I'm just going to get these holes tied in. You can see it's building the timing contours as we connect them up. And I really want to go to this hole here, and then this one I got to get rid of, so we're going to turn that off. Select that hole. Am I going to be able to, or select that tie? We're going to be able to select it. Yep. Select that tie there, that one there. And so we are going to select it this way, yeah? So we're going to select this hole here to there. And it looks a little odd, I know, but we are trying to maintain the consistency of timing. And then we're going to go over here, and we're going to put that 17 in there, and you can see there that's straightened up. And then for the rest of the way, we're going to put some 17s in here. You can see I'm fairly rusty on the whole streaming business. But what I've done is I've tied in the bulk of the shot, and you want to work with the bulk of the shot at the first time, because that's going to drive how you time the rest of the shot. Yeah. So if you start with the difficult stuff, it will be awkward and annoying. If you start with the small sections of the shot, like these bits over here, you'll never get it right. So this is the key, and now you've defined where your contours are. And so you've got those contours on there, and then you are essentially going to, I'm going to create a line through there on one of these contours. Just a simple, like, click through there. I'll better turn off my timing tools. Yep, and then we're just going to select here and build a line through here. Right, so we're kind of like, that's our contour. That's where we want to go to. So this number, whatever contour timing that is, which is about 325, yeah. We want to be, that time wants to be there. So this hole needs to be firing at 325. So what's that going to be? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 spaces. 8 spaces. But you could probably say there's more like 7 spaces. So let's quickly get the calculator up and have a little think about that. So I'm saying 325 roughly. So I'm just doing rough things, and I'm going to divide that by 7 spaces, right? And so I'm looking at 46. So what have I got? I've got a 42. So now I'm going to use a 42 on this side here, and we're going to just going to cancel that there, and we're going to go and use a set of 42s up here. So we're going to run 42s up this run. Yeah, there. And might be not good enough, might be okay. And now here we can probably sort of consider, what are we going to do here? Well, I think there's there's sort of like 50, so we'll just go with a scenario where we go 25 first one. All right, and we're going to break up a 42 into a 25 and a 17, like that. And now looks not too bad, right? And in order to see those contours show up, we're going to put on the blast modeling again and hit a timing contour there. I'll come up again and just bring that up into the screen. And you can see here it's not quite right. You know, we've got a kink, so our times are not right. And that's how you read a contour, is your contour should be forming what we just talked about. So I think maybe I didn't use enough 17s, enough 42s in there. Now that has pulled it in because this time is now too much. So we can see this contour deviate down. So let's grab that 25 again here, and 17, and we probably should be looking at this row here needs to be something else as well, so we might want to do 25 in there. So you can see that these difficult shots, they take a little bit of thinking about, because you're mixing patterns and times that you don't normally do. So you're trying to build your way into it. So essentially we're going to deal with all the problems up the front of the hole. So I'm going to suggest we go 9. And that's pretty odd to go 9 back, and that's pulling it a bit straighter. But we really need that hole, like we said, was going to be up this point here. So now we can put in a couple of 25s at the front. Maybe that's too much there. Probably too much. I think we'll just go with 3 25s. maybe chuck in a 17 here, and you're probably going, this is ugly, this guy's ugly doing this timing. But you know, there's no good timing that you can use. You know, sometimes you just cannot get it. So you're sort of like drawing a row in your mind's eye, and that's a row, and then this is like this row here through here is needing to be 225s. So this is that's not going to work, so we need to go with the next best thing, which we have is a 42, and that's too fast, it's pushed it out, you know. So you've got this balancing game that you play with the timing, and then you go, well, let's go with another 42 there, and that's too fast, so let's, you know, what I mean, is it too much to do? Quite confusing. And you might never get that straight. And this is the problem with pyrotechnics, is you might never get that contour on the line that you want it to be. And then, so, you know, we were talking about where our IP should be. Well, we might never get this timing